Hey guys, this is TekGeekHD here, and this is the Alcatel Onetouch Idol 3, Alcatel's first mainstream offering in the smartphone world. With 2GB of RAM and a 1080p screen, is it any good? Let's find out. Let's start with the packaging. Alcatel really took to the saying that the first impression is the one that lasts. This may just be the press packaging, but it definitely struck out to me as being very unique, especially with the slide to unlock slider at the top. In the box, we're presented with the Idol 3 first and foremost, and following it we have the included power brick, earphones, these ones are from JBL, micro USB cable, a little USB drive with press information, this is included only in the press pack, and finally the SIM and micro SD card ejector tools. Yes, you heard me right. This is a bit of a unicorn phone with being in a rare group of phones which still includes micro SD card expansion slots. Getting the phone set up is easy. First off, out of the box I had an Android update available which I left to it, and a couple pages of Lollipop setup screens, and we're in. Let's start with this phone's display. It's a 5.5-inch 1080p panel laminated to the cover glass. It's an IPS display and so has great viewing angles. The color reproduction is good and on the higher end of the contrast spectrum with a slightly cool hue to it. It gets nice and bright and is easy to use in direct sunlight, and since the panel is laminated to the glass, reflections are minimized, but this does make it susceptible to worse damage if you were to drop the phone screen down. Flanking the screen at either side are dual front-facing stereo speakers, a feature missing from most of its much more expensive competitors and was first introduced with the HTC One M7. They get nice and loud. Quality-wise they aren't the absolute best, but they make up for it with having the sound sent directly to you and not reflected off of something and then back to you. I absolutely love front-facing speakers. The phone is overall rather great in terms of media consumption due to these speakers in combination with the excellent display. One of the most popular forms of media today are mobile photographs, and to add to this ever-growing source of media is the Idol's rear-facing 13-megapixel camera. It's a decent shooter with good color reproduction and passable dynamic range. Unlike most of its competitors, it produces more realistic, non-processed looking photographs, which is a big plus. Megapixels don't make the camera, but having this abundance of them means that cropping while retaining quality for mobile uploads is definitely viable. Where a trade-off is made is in low-light shooting. The sensor really isn't able to keep up, autofocus starts hunting around, and a lot of noise is introduced into the photographs to try to bring out the detail. Videos are good, they're crisp and clear, the sound quality is good, and the picture is clear enough at a stable 30 frames per second throughout the duration of the video. With a maximum resolution of 1080p, this can almost entirely replace your point-and-shoot camera's video capabilities. The phone comes standard with Android, very lightly skinned and with Alcatel skin. This is very unobtrusive and I prefer it to other manufacturers' skins. It consists mainly of a wallpaper change and icons, which are pleasant on the eyes, being a uniform size and not free to be different sizes like on pure stock Android. I do have a custom launcher installed with the voxel icon pack. This doesn't take anything away from the device or introduce any lag which wasn't present before. Here's where we see a couple drawbacks. The phone comes with 2GB of RAM and a Snapdragon 615 processor. It's a little sluggish to be honest, lagging slightly when opening apps, especially content-heavy ones such as the photo gallery and YouTube. What's well above manageable is the battery life. The phone doesn't boast a 6000 mAh battery, but it does manage to get me through a day's worth of use without the anxiety of wanting to be close to a charger at all times. It won't take me into the second day, but I do consume a lot more media than the average person's selfie or two every hour on Snapchat. It has a 2910 mAh battery for those who were wondering. It manages to keep the 5.5-inch screen lit bright for a day's worth of use, including while using LTE on AT&T or T-Mobile's LTE bands. One interesting feature that the Idol 3 offers is the notification LED. This is a neat little addition to the phone. I still miss it on my iPhone, and wish Apple would finally just bite the bullet, swallow their pride, and incorporate one, because I for one love it. It saves me from unnecessarily waking my phone to tell if there really are any notifications, or I'm just doing it out of the force of habit. All around, for the $279 price tag this phone comes at, I find it hard not to recommend. It has a great screen, good speakers, and a good rear camera. The 8-megapixel front shooter is good for Snapchat selfies, but that's about it, and the battery life gets you through a day with ease. It doesn't have the flagship competing specifications and features like quick charging, but it doesn't come at a flagship competing price. And it has front-facing speakers. Your Iron Man edition Samsung Galaxy S6 Edge doesn't have that.